Spider-Man stood in the middle of a vast starry void, almost like he was talking to the universe itself. His tone was frustrated, tired, like someone who's been carrying the same weight for far too long. "You get it, right?" he started. He talked about Uncle Ben's death, how it was his fault, how that moment shaped everything. He said he knew he had to be a better man, and he tried. He really did. But even that wasn't enough to save his first love. So he decided he had to become something more, something greater. He threw himself into doing the right thing, saving lives, fighting crime, being a constant force for good. He believed that if he did enough, it would change his life, that it would change him. But that wasn't what changed things. He met someone amazing, a woman he fell completely in love with. When he was with her, everything felt right. "When I'm with her, everything is okay," he said softly, but then, like everything else in his life, it fell apart. He screwed that up too. Aunt May got sick. His best friend turned out to not be who he thought. One step forward, two steps back. Over and over, every single day. "I never win," he admitted. "And I'm just not sure how much longer I can take it." As Spider-Man opened up, 3 other spider variants sat nearby, listening carefully. One wore a black and red suit, another had a Fantastic Four uniform, and the third wore a white and black suit while scrolling on a tablet. And honestly, judging by how smooth he looked while multitasking, I'm pretty sure what he was using on that tablet was today's sponsor, Opera Browser. I've been using it recently, and honestly, it's made multitasking way smoother. The first thing I love is Tab Island. I can group tabs by topic, and collapsing or expanding them just keeps everything neat. I usually have music on, and Opera's floating music player is perfect for that. I can pick from the 7 streaming services available and control my music without interrupting my work. Also, I can move the player anywhere on my screen, even outside the browser, so it's never in the way. Same with videos. If I'm watching something, the video pop-out feature lets me pull the video out and keep it floating while I multitask. And you can use it outside the browser as well. What really surprised me though is Aria, Opera's built-in AI. With a quick Ctrl+/ or Command+/, I can open the command line and tell it to group tabs or close all my YouTube tabs instantly. It's super handy. Plus, with the themes feature, I switched to the Aurora theme. It just gives everything a clean, modern look. If you want to try Opera yourself, check the link in the description or the pinned comment. It's free. Huge thanks to Opera Browser for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the video. The red and black suited one glanced at Peter with curiosity and asked, "Who's this guy?" The Fantastic Four Spider-Man explained that he was Peter Parker, traditional spelling. The white and black variant read from the tablet, noting that he came from a standard Earth with a slight scientific divergence. Something called Brain 616? They exchanged short remarks, casually confirming his identity. "Huh, is this right? Peter, not Pete?" Fantastic Four Spidey asked. "Looks like it," the white guy replied. Fantastic Four Spidey then added, "Figures." The white one just says, "I know, right?" Finally, the black and red Spider-Man turned toward him and asked what they could do to help. Peter stood before the dimensional teleporter, shoulders heavy, and admitted that he didn't understand why things kept going wrong. He hoped they could offer some answers. The black and red Spider-Man then just asks, "How so?" Peter hesitated. "I don't know. Shared experiences? Coping mechanisms? Advice on how to turn lemons into lemonade?" The black and red Spider-Man gave Peter a puzzled look and asked why he thought they'd be able to help him with his problem. Peter answered honestly. He said it was because they were Spider-Men, the hardest working, down-on-their-luck heroes in the entire universe. That was their deal, right? If anyone understood what it meant to be constantly struggling, it would be them. But to his surprise, the black and red Spider-Man shook his head and said that he had no idea what Peter was talking about. Peter blinked, taken aback. The group around him started sharing bits of their life, casually but confidently. One of them had just won a Nobel Prize in science, standing there like it was no big deal. Another mentioned proudly that he'd recently had his 3rd child, healthy and loud, with lungs strong enough to make it known. The Fantastic Four Spider-Man confirmed it, saying he'd met the baby and could vouch for it. Peter stared at them, confused. This wasn't how things were supposed to be. He had expected maybe a few of them to have better lives, but not this. He thought across the Spider-Verse there had to be some who didn't have it as rough as him, but surely they were the rare exception. He asked if it was just the three of them who'd somehow managed to catch all the good breaks. The black and red Spider-Man thought for a minute, then decided to put the question to the crowd. He raised his voice, asking how many Spider-Men out there were genuinely happy with their superhero lives. He told them not to be shy. Slowly, hands started to go up. One by one, Spider-Men in different suits from different worlds began raising their hands proudly. Peter watched as dozens of hands lifted into the air. They were all kinds: armored Spider-Men, Spider-Men in futuristic suits, strange alternative versions. Peter stood frozen as he looked around the room. The reality of what he was seeing didn't make sense. Dozens of Spider-Men, all these different versions of himself from across the multiverse, had their hands raised proudly. Each of them seemed to be doing well in their own worlds, living lives that weren't defined by constant tragedy or struggle. The sight shook him more than he expected. "That can't be right," he muttered. The black and red Spider-Man dropped down from the higher platform and landed right in front of Peter. "I'm afraid so," he said. Placing a hand firmly on Peter's shoulder, Peter looked at him, stunned, still trying to process what he was hearing. "What does that mean?" he asked. The black and red Spider-Man didn't hesitate. He looked Peter in the eye and told him straight. Maybe the problem wasn't fate, or the universe, or bad luck. Maybe the problem was Peter himself. "Well, Pete, I think that means the problem is you. Maybe you're just not cut out to be a Spider-Man." The line hit like a punch to the gut. From the crowd, another Spider-Man chimed in, suggesting maybe he should hang it all up. Another followed, saying that maybe he should just stop whining and be a real man. A Spider-Man. For a moment, the hero who had faced gods, monsters, and endless villains felt completely alone among versions of himself. Peter stood there in shock for a moment, trying to process everything. Then he spoke. "You guys are totally screwing with me, aren't you?" The white and black suited Spider-Man suddenly burst out laughing. The others joined in, laughing loudly. One of them said, "What an idiot. Did you see your face?" The Fantastic Four Spider-Man laughed and replied, "Of course not. He's wearing a mask." The black and red Spider-Man laughed too, pointing at Peter before putting a hand on his shoulder. "Sorry. It's just a little something we do for first-timers. Had you going there for a minute, didn't we?" Peter crouched down slightly, relieved and a little embarrassed. "Aw, man, I was about to throw up," he admitted. The black and red Spider-Man grinned and said, "Well, you took it like a Spider-Man, that's for sure." Pete Theme asked about the Nobel Prize, and the Fantastic Four Spider-Man casually replied that he'd actually won one, but didn't think it mattered anymore. When Peter asked about the kids, the white and black Spider-Man admitted he wasn't sure they were his, but he'd taken his frustrations out on the Hydro Man recently. "You know, really put in the work." Peter turned to the black and red Spider-Man and asked what his story was. The other Spider-Man simply said he had arthritis. Peter looked at him in disbelief and asked if he was serious. The red and black Spider-Man responded with a straight face that it was actually cancer. Peter froze for a second, unsure how to react, and just said, "Damn." The other Spider-Man then clarified that he was just joking. It really was arthritis. The conversation then shifted back to Peter. The red and black Spider-Man activated the dimensional portal device, ready to send him back to his world. He told Peter that the bad things in his life didn't happen because of something he did, or because of bad luck. He explained that Peter put himself in the center of the storm every single day, and complaining about the wind wouldn't change anything. He then asked, "Want to know how long you're gonna suffer?" Peter stepped into the teleporter, looked back at him, and said, "I think I know." Peter returned to his world. As he swung through the city, he kept thinking about what the black and red Spider-Man said. The words stayed in his head. "Of course you do. and you'll hold on for as long as it takes, for as long as they need you to. When you fall, you get up every time. Why? Because you're Spider-Man. The sun shined on the buildings as he swung between them. He didn't have everything figured out, but he knew he had to keep going. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.